Yo and hello!
Yo and hello, everybody. Mike here, baseball collector, and Mrs. Baseball Collector right there, being silly. Happy Thursday, everybody. Week's almost over. I know, totally clickbaity title that I just put on this video, but I hope it made you click on it, or at least you were curious. And what I want to talk about today is twofold. Number one, I'm going to do a video response for a fellow YouTuber, but I want to give some thoughts on something. I'm an old man, or at least getting older every day, and I have few regrets in life. But as a baseball fan, one thing I regret is, as I was growing up, not savoring the moments, not savoring the great players that I was blessed to witness much of their career. In the moment, you just kind of think, oh, no big deal. And our society today, especially, it's always like, oop, next thing, let's go. That's over with, let's move on, turn the page, keep things rolling. And I get that. But what I would tell you is we have 6 more weeks of this baseball season-ish. If you have an opportunity on MLB Network or MLB TV or whatever, any way that you can, take a moment and try to watch Albert Pujols, watch Miguel Cabrera. 2 guys that, Pujols for sure, I don't know what Miggy's going to do, but we have this opportunity to see these guys that will likely, Pujols especially, likely go down as top 10 greatest players of all time. Once everything's kind of said and done and the story's written. I totally get that a lot of you are moaning right now. And I'll tell you, look, they're not the players they were 15 years ago. I get it. That's not the point. I don't care if Carl Yastrzemski could barely hit his weight. I got to see Carl Yastrzemski or Johnny Bench or Mike Schmidt. You know, these greats that were in my childhood when I was growing up and didn't give it much of a thought. And now I look back and go, man, I would have been more conscious of that, if that makes any sense. And what's great is it's not like these guys are going to get injured and stop, in terms of like their career is going to end drastically. They're going to kind of go out riding on the sunset, you know, riding off into the sunset. So we have this next 6 weeks to appreciate their career. Maybe they'll hit a few more home runs, get a few more RBIs, a few more hits, and add to their statistical lines for their career. But that's not the point. It's going, oh my gosh, I promise you, I think about, man, I wish I would have, you know, gotten to see so-and-so. You kids especially need to be listening to this if you're a kid, or if you're dads that have kids, make sure because not everybody watches everything like they used to. And so make your kids sit down and watch Pujols and tell them stories about what Albert Pujols used to be. This guy used to be this. 3-time MVP winner, batting champ, you know, 12-time All-Star, whatever he is. Miguel Cabrera won a Triple Crown. Nobody's had done that since 1967, and nobody's done it since. And anyway, there's just these accomplishments that you can have the opportunity to say, hey, and when that kid grows up, or when we get older, we're going to say, God, I remember, you know, I got to see Albert Pujols or Miguel Cabrera, these guys, and what they meant in their career. And we've all gotten to see them. You know, I went to 2011 World Series Game 3 when Pujols hit 3 home runs. And I remember it vividly. He still hit one that hasn't landed yet. It's in orbit. NASA's tracking it now. But savor these next 6 weeks with these guys, because I'm looking at stats and I'm just pondering the impact of these guys on baseball and its history. First of all, it's really fun to think about that. And you start comparing, and is this guy better than that guy? And oh my gosh, look, because I mean, Pujols is getting up there in some things that are stratospheric. That's not a word. Into the stratosphere. My English is failing me in the moment. But please, hopefully that rings a bell with you and you say, yeah, that makes some sense. I think that's a good idea. You may say, that's dumb. I've seen Albert Pujols bat 1,000 times or whatever, or Miggy Cabrera. Fine, so be it. But take it from an old man who, you know, when you get old, you look back and you go, man, I wish I would have entered, you know, whatever there. And just enjoying and savoring the ends of the careers of the greats. Do it. Enjoy it. All right. Next up. Enough of that. But that got me thinking, you know, all these things there's this guy on YouTube. His name's Cracker Jack Cards. Great name for a channel. He is a younger guy, right? So I started thinking about my youth and collecting. And this guy's a vintage collector. And he collects stuff I love that when I was his age, I certainly loved, but couldn't afford, kind of thing. And so I'm like, dude, this guy has got it figured out. He's got all this vintage awesomeness and he's doing it really cool. Got a channel. I'll put the link down below to his channel. He's reached 100 subs and he's doing a contest of, hey, pick your ultimate Hall of Fame lineup. And I thought about that. I'm like, you know, ultimate Hall of Fame lineup. And then I thought, hey, this guy's a kid. Let me think about, and I don't know how old he is. He's a teenager. When I was a kid, when I was a teenager, who were the greats that were happening then that in the moment I wasn't savoring? Then I started churning on Pujols and Cabrera. It's like all these things kind of work together. My brain, you know, figures out a way to connect these dots somehow. And so I'm going to show you my ultimate lineup from the 80s. I thought all Hall of Famers, but like guys that were prevalent in that era that I grew up, the era when I was this kid's age. And who were just in the moment then. I'll show you their rookie cards and we'll talk through a lineup of those guys because that's stuff I don't talk about a whole lot. They're, you know, we talk about the really old guys all the time and the super vintage stuff, but these were greats too. And so let me flip this around and I'll show you my lineup. Here we go. All right, here we go with my team. His criteria was super simple. 9 Hall of Famers, position players, and then 1 pitcher. And so here we go. Here's kind of my childhood team. So I graduated high school in 92. So pretty much everything late 70s through, you know, early 90s was my childhood. And so these are all players that during that time I think were kind of the best at their deal. Leading off for me, playing left field, Rickey Henderson, best leadoff hitter of all time. No question about that. There's his rookie card, 1980 top. So he's playing left field. We'll put him out here in left field. And Jackie's watching. By the way, everybody's asking about this. Several people have asked me. That is a reprint of a Drake's, 1950 Drake's. Batting second for me in right field, Tony Gwynn. An amazing hitter. He was just so good. Go look. All these guys, go look at their stats if you don't know. So he's playing right field. Batting third, playing third, Wade Boggs. Nice near mint 8 on his 83 tops. These have been graded so long that, you know, I don't even think PSA, like that's got a 0 in front of it. And I graded this card, I don't know how long ago. So Boggs is playing third over here. My cleanup hitter batting fourth, playing center field, Ken Griffey Jr. Yeah, I know, he's got a lot of rookies. I just thought this was cool, just different, something I don't show often. I have every Griffey rookie there is, Donruss, Fleer, tops traded, blah, blah, whatever. Upper Deck score. But this is a cool one, this Donruss rookies. Can you ever have enough Griffey rookies? Nope. That's super cool. He's playing center out here. My first baseman, Eddie Murray. Huge, just dominated the 80s with the Orioles. Just huge player, great player. Just great first baseman, Eddie Murray. Doesn't get a lot of love, like what kind of player he was. Playing first. My DH, I'm going to have a DH since I have to have 9 position players. Edgar Martinez, him and Frank Thomas. Frank Thomas played a lot of first base. Edgar started as a third baseman, you can see there, but Edgar was known as a DH. So was Thomas. I think Thomas is the best DH of all time. Edgar's second, in my opinion, but There's his 88 Fleer. So he's DHing. He's over here. My shortstop, Cal Ripken Jr. Come on. Of course. If you're talking 80s, he was the guy, the Iron Man. So he's playing short. My second baseman, Ryan Sandberg. What a great group of cards, all kind of, just bunched together in these early 80s. Just so many great players that were coming up. Ryan Sandberg, of course, playing second. My catcher, I had to pull an 80s card of this guy because most of his rookies are in the 90s, but I just thought this is a great card of Pudge. 89, Blanco y Negro is what BYN stands for. Puerto Rican League card. Like, how cool is that? What team is that? Oh, it just says 89-90. I don't know. What team was he on? He was at a Receptor, which is catcher. Yeah, how cool is that? Yep. 89. He's my catcher. Loved Pudge growing up. And then my pitcher, Greg Maddox. I almost chose Randy Johnson for this spot, but Greg Maddox did it with finesse. He did it with class. He was just painting the corners. He wasn't overpowering by any stretch, but Greg Maddox just knew how to pitch. And I loved watching him pitch when I was a kid. And the Braves were so good, right? Smoltz, Glavine, Maddox, Steve Avery, they always had, and Fred McGriff and Pendleton, and they were great. Chipper. So Maddox is my pitcher. So that's it. That is my ultimate Hall of Fame lineup, 1980s style. Impactful players from the 80s, which is my childhood. So thanks everybody for watching. Go check out Cracker Jack Cards. I think the deadline for his contest is today. So if you have a video to do, get it done. We'll talk to you guys later. Keep collecting.